Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 5 of Insurance Isn't Boring. Again, as always, with my lovely co-host, Elijah Corujo. We got a banger for you guys today. I know we've been talking a lot about successes, kind of theoretical stuff, but we're going to dive a little more into the weeds of objections, right? Particularly on a little older leads. So for someone who's a little newer to the industry, you're probably not investing in brand new leads. You're going to be talking to people who have been called already. Elijah and I have worked on both, so we've heard some of the things that you've heard, and we're going to share some of our tips on how we overcome those. But to start it off, we talked about mindset a lot, and I think mindset on the phones is huge, right? Because you're going to get more no's than yeses, especially on aged leads. And so, I mean, Elijah, you still dial some bonus leads, right? I don't even do that.
Oh, yeah. But I think coming into grab a notebook if you don't have one, because we're going to go over how to overcome certain objections, like the most common ones, because no matter what company you work with, if you're buying life insurance leads and calling people about insurance, the objections are all the same. And I think what you have to know is that everything starts on the phone. And if you don't have enough appointments in your calendar, you're not going to make money. And the more appointments you have, the more successful you are. A lot of the people that we look at in our company who are achieving at a really high level as far as sales, they're pretty much doing one of two things. They're either buying more leads or running more appointments. And it can be scary to do that if you're newer and you don't know how to overcome certain objections. I know when I was new, this thing felt like it weighed 35 pounds when I was sitting down to make my dials. And getting the confidence to overcome objections is a game changer. And you get that just through making more calls, having more conversations with people, and getting confident to know how to respond to those knee-jerk objections. So one thing I do want to say too, when you're calling leads, and Xander and I, we do a lot of digital leads right now.
Yeah.
But we've done direct mail, and within direct mail, you're going to get leads that are a little bit older. And the older the lead, I think that you're more likely to get objections. But the mindset, so I want to just preface this conversation with the mindset that I think that Xander and I both have when we're calling leads, is you're the professional. You're the one with the insurance license, and you know what the client needs. Half the time they don't even know what they need. That's your job. But when you're calling leads, I see a lot of new agents make the mistake of trying to persuade people into booking an appointment. And you don't want to do that. You're wasting your time because they're probably not even going to show up. And two, if they do show up, they feel like they had to be there and you're hijacking them. And so the mindset you want to have as a professional is you're just trying to sort through these leads. So if you have a stack of, I don't know, let's say you're buying 50 leads a week, which is a lot. All right, there's people in our team who are buying 100 aged leads a week. Your job isn't to talk to all 100 and talk them into an appointment. Your job is to sort through those and find the people who need, want, and remember filling out the request, and separate them from the people who maybe aren't interested, already got it, or don't need it. And so that's the mindset you want to have when dialing. Xander, what would you say? What kind of tips would you give to maybe people who are just getting into this? They've never had experience calling leads before, which can be a little bit scary. A lot of people get anxiety around the phones for some reason. But yeah, what are those mindset pieces that you want to give to people?
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of taking it from the top, like, we heard this in one of our meetings this week, actually, of thinking about dialing is generally a whole lot harder than actually dialing itself.
True
right.
that.
So, if you get in your head too much, yeah, you can absolutely psych yourself out. The phone weighs a lot when you first start. And, I wasn't from a sales background. And so I think we touched on this earlier in one of the earlier episodes, but like, I had the expectation of like, hey, they sent this form in, right? Like, this is going to be a sale.
Yeah.
And particularly on age leads, that is the wrong mentality, right? Like, if you're buying leads that are 6 months to a year old, one policy is going to put you in the green, right? It's going to pay for all of the lead investment and some. And if you get a couple more, that's just gravy on top. So having that mindset of, like you said, we're master filterers, right? We are not trying to convince people to buy insurance. We're looking for people who want to buy insurance, and then we just help facilitate the transaction. As far as, objections go, because you're going to get them, particularly on age leads, I think of myself as a friendly steamroller, right? You're going to have to give me some expletives or hang up on me. I'm never going to be the one to press the red button on my phone. And so I think that probably kind of segues nicely into, all right, you're talking about objections. They're coming. Like, what are some common ones, Elijah? What do you hear most, and what did you hear most often?
Yeah, I think everybody hears, I'm not interested, already got it. I didn't fill that request out. I've already got coverage through work. My son handles this. I need to talk to my financial advisor first. I don't qualify. I can't afford it. What you got to know is a lot of people, first of all, when you're dialing, these people aren't expecting your phone call. They didn't send that in, and they're not getting a reminder on their phone that this person is calling me about the request I sent in. And so we as insurance agents have to overcome the first objection, which is separating ourselves from all of the other callers that these people get. These people, people get telemarketer calls all the time. And so what you have to understand is an objection isn't necessarily that person telling you no. It's just a knee-jerk reaction if you sound like a telemarketer or if they think you're trying to sell them something that they don't want or didn't ask for. And so knowing that kind of puts you in the right frame of mind to know how to navigate these objections, and hopefully it results in an appointment. But one thing I do want to say is in order to have the right expectations as an agent, you're not going to overcome every single objection. You're not going to book an appointment with every single person you talk to. The purpose of this is to improve your odds. If you're learning how to swing a golf club, it's making a couple small changes that just make you more effective. You're not going to hit them all out of the park, but if you can improve your odds and you improve your booking ratio, that's a skill set that is just going to continue to help you get better and result in you booking more appointments. But we had some people submit objections that they wanted us to kind of go over how to overcome and what we do. Why don't we dive into the first one? We could do like a little back and forth role play. You throw me one, I throw you one, so that people can hear different takes on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, before we start doing this, if there is one takeaway that you get from this conversation, it should be that every objection that you get, every single one, I don't care if they tell you they're on the toilet, it can be handled with the same 5 words. That's exactly why I'm calling. It's an interruption. I've gotten that before. I got a guy in the shower the other day. I was like, why do you pick up the phone? Hey, that was baffling.
Yeah, that phrase was beat into my head when I first came on to Symmetry. I was like, man, they need to put this phrase on a t-shirt or something, because it is a key phrase. Remember it. You can apply it to any objection. It should be the first thing you say if you're thrown one. Let's give them what does this look like? Let's give them a real take on it.
Yeah. So this one is courtesy of Miss Jennifer, and
shout out to Jennifer.
Shout out Jennifer. We appreciate you. Elijah, I already have tons of life insurance through work. I got personal policies. I don't need this.
Well, that's actually exactly why I'm calling. It looked like you had sent in this postcard about mortgage protection a little bit ago. Did you already get that taken care of?
I just filled that out. I thought I had to.
Okay.
But I like I said, I already have a ton of insurance.
Right. Most of the families I help already have coverage through work or separate policies, but most of them are looking for a policy designated to pay off the house. That way their life insurance can just go to their family. Is that what you were thinking too?
Yes. Yeah, actually, we did have that conversation.
Okay. So has anybody gotten those options out to you yet? Because I'm not trying to sell you something you don't need. To be honest, I don't even know if you need this yet. My job is just to get you that information so that you can make a good decision on it. And then
Yeah.
you go back into your script
Yeah.
and keep rolling.
Yep. Friendly steamroller.
Mm-hmm. One thing real quick, when you're overcoming an objection, I think knowing when to pause and how to end a statement is key, because you don't want to end a statement that isn't a question.
Yep.
You want to end every sentence you say with a question. And because if you don't, and you just kind of say something like, if I got that objection, I already got coverage through work. Okay. Well, has anybody helped you with that coverage yet? You're kind of opening it up. You don't want to ask a yes or a no question. You want to ask an open-ended question, because if you ask a yes or no and they tell you no, that it makes it hard to pivot from that. It's like a hard shutdown. And so you want to leave it open-ended, and you want to preface it by saying, that's exactly why I'm calling.
Right. Not asking yes or no questions is absolutely huge. If you haven't read Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss, I feel like
Great book.
I throw some book out every time we're on here. There's a reason for that. Hostage negotiator. Like Elijah said, do not ask yes or no questions, right? That is pigeonholing the conversation into there, and people are usually going to say no. So in the event that you don't listen to any of this, if you ask a yes or no question, make sure that the no would be in your favor, right? So would you be opposed to moving forward with this? No, I wouldn't be opposed, right? As opposed to, should we move forward with this? No. It's a slight tweak. And like Elijah said, it's all about the slight tweaks to give yourself a better shot.
Let me throw one at you, Xander. So let's say you call somebody and the first thing they say is, hey, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, Elijah, that's exactly why I'm calling. I'm just a field underwriter who's been assigned to you. My job's really just to verify the info that you submitted. Looks like we got you over at 123 Anywhere Street.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then we got you nice and young here, 28 years old, 28 years young, sorry.
Yep.
Okay. And then we had Miss Maggie as the co-borrower. Were you looking for protection on both of y'all or just yourself?
Both would be good.
So then I would just go through, verify the rest of the information and book the appointment. But really the key there is you just want to open the door. These are, as Elijah said earlier, these are knee-jerk reactions, right? Like people are used to being sold to. And so the sooner that you're like, I don't even know if I can help you with this, and just keep moving. Like if you would be baffled the number of times that like they gave me an objection, I could hang up, but I just keep talking. I like yapping. And because of that, I end up booking an appointment and end up helping the family, right?
I want to point something out, Xander, real quick for the people who didn't catch this. You did something masterfully. You addressed the objection, and then you went back into your script and verified a piece of information that resulted in me saying yes. And that is kind of the flow. Like if somebody gives you an objection, like, I'm not interested, you addressed it, and then you went back into the script. You didn't stop talking to wait for a response. You went back into the script, verified my address and age, and then you keep moving. One thing that I like to do if I get somebody who says, I'm not interested, I try to figure out why. A lot of times if somebody is telling you I'm not interested, it's for one of a couple reasons. One, they met with somebody who showed them something super expensive. And so if they hear you calling about insurance or mortgage protection, they just assume it's going to cost $400 a month and they don't want it. Or they think they don't qualify. Or they think that they're going to be fine with the coverage they've already got, but they've never met with anybody. And so the way that you kind of dig a couple layers deep is you acknowledge the objection. Okay, well, hey, that's actually exactly why I'm calling. I don't know if you need this at all yet, Xander. My job is just to verify the info and get you those options. Looks like you gave me your address here, 123 Anywhere Street. Is that right? Yes. And then you move on to the next piece of info, and the more yeses you get, the better.
Right. Get that yes momentum. Get that yes momentum going. Let's
What's
see. I
another
got a
one?
couple here. Elijah, can you call me back later? I'm at work right now.
You know, I'll have to check to see if I'm available, but this is just going to take a second. I wasn't calling to help you with this just yet. I was just calling to verify the info. It looks like I got your age here at 25 and a non-smoker. Is that right?
That's me. No tobacco over
Yep.
here.
And then you go into verifying their address and that. Sometimes if I get people who say, "Oh, I'm busy right now, I can't talk," I'm not trying to hijack them. You know, you got to be careful with that because it's a great way to get hung up on if you're not reading their tone and everything well. But a lot of times if people say, "I can't do this right now," or "I'm busy," they think you're trying to help them with the whole policy right then and there.
Right
They
then
don't
and
know.
there. Yep.
Yeah, and they think it's going to be a 35-minute phone call. But if you just let them know, "Hey, I'm not calling to do all that right now. I just needed 10 seconds to verify this info that you gave me so that I can start working on this for you."
Yep.
Having that posture is going to be good. Sometimes you get people while they're driving, or you'll call people while they're at work, and letting them know that this is going to be super quick, and then we can find a time to talk. That's what you want to do.
Yeah. Could not agree with that more. My personal favorite way to handle that one is, hey, that's exactly why I'm calling. I don't have time to go into this right now either. I just had this come across my desk. Just need to verify some of the info you submitted so that I can go get working on this, and then we can get back together at a better time for both of us. It's like we
That's
got you
gold.
over at. Do not wait for them to say yes is the other thing. It's like if
Yeah.
they haven't hung up, they're still on the phone. Keep talking to them.
Yep.
And know in the back of your mind, like they requested this information, right? And so the more info that you can give them that they sent in, you want them to remember getting that postcard, filling that form out. Because then they're going to be, oh yeah, this isn't some telemarketer. I did actually ask them to call me about this.
That's good. Because we're not cold calling people, are we, Xander? We're
I couldn't
investing
do
in
that.
leads. Oh, dude, I'm not cut out for that. If that's what you're doing, more power to you. But no, we're literally reaching out to people who filled out a request. Some of them physically with a pen and paper, folded it back up, licked it, put it in an envelope, and mailed it back. And the hard part is we don't always know when they did that. And so a lot of the objections you're getting are simply because people don't remember. And so your job is to help them remember. And then through the questions you ask, help them remember why they did it. Because people aren't going to book an appointment with you if they don't know what you're meeting about. And so, but yeah, what's another, or let me throw one at you, man. I already got a policy. I don't need that.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly why I'm calling. Do you remember which carrier you ended up going with?
I don't know. It's been a couple months.
Okay. I mean, would you be offended if, we work with a lot of companies, I could just verify the information we got, and then if I could find you a better price for the same coverage or, the same price for more, would that be something you're opposed to?
No, I wouldn't be opposed. That sounds good.
Okay, well, let me see here. It looks like we got you as 20, again, keep going. I got to give a shout
Back
out
into
to
the
Jeremy
script.
Miner for that one.
Yeah,
Of
I was
like,
going to say, you just reminded me of Jerry Miner.
that is straight from him, dude. Would you be
Yeah,
offended if I could
right.
save you money?
Mm-hmm. That's
Most
a good
people
one.
are not going to be offended about it.
Yeah. And one thing too, like us insurance folks, like we get people who say, "Oh, I already got that," or "I already have a policy," all the time. The thing that I've come to realize is most people don't know what they have. Half the time they don't remember the company or how much coverage. They only know how much they pay because they see it come out every month. You would not believe, Xander, how many times I got that objection, and through conversation and booking an appointment, we found out they only had an accidental death policy, or
Yep.
they had a policy, but it expired, or it wasn't what they thought it was. And so do your due diligence to overcome that objection. Don't take it personally. Like Xander said at the beginning, you're going to get way more no's than yeses. But the more no's that you get, the closer you get to a yes. And so
Right.
the purpose of knowing how to overcome objections is just to help you overcome those no's better, because they're not always like people shutting you down and saying no. Sometimes it's just a knee-jerk reaction. And so
Right.
this will help you help more families. That's the whole purpose of this. What's
The
another
go
one
for
we
no
got?
is huge. And one thing I do want to say is, when I first started and people would tell me, like, let's say they had an accidental, I started trying to talk down about the accidental. That's not the move, y'all. Another Jeremy Minor tip, that's fairly decent coverage, or that's a fairly decent carrier. I love fairly decent, right? Because not calling it bad, but you're hinting at the fact that there might be something better out there. What caused you to go with them?
That's a really good nugget right there.
And then you're opening the door to, they're going to be like, well, the agent told me I couldn't get approved for whatever, which is another one I wanted to throw at you, Elijah. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard that before. We're brokers. We aren't captive agents. So this might not work if you are a captive agent. If you're a captive agent, go become a broker. But, Elijah, I don't think I'm going to get approved for anything, man.
That's actually exactly why I'm calling. We can help anybody with this type of coverage, as long as they're not over the age of 85, and as long as you don't have a terminal illness. Now it looks like I got your age here at, typically you're going to get that from older people, by the way. So like, it looks like I got your age here at 73, and you wouldn't have happened to just been diagnosed with a terminal illness now, have you? Oh, well, no. Okay, well, did you meet with another agent? What makes you think that you wouldn't be approved?
Great question, right? Like those what and how questions that are open-ended, give them time to reflect on. They just told you that, so they better have a reason to back up what it is that they just said, right? And with what and how, if someone asks you a what or a how question, you can't answer that with a yes or a no. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of going back to Chris Voss. So yeah, I love that. That's kind of another great one for age leads. Elijah, you're the fifth person to call me about this, man. Like, I don't need this.
Well, it's funny you say that, Xander, because that's exactly why I'm calling. It doesn't look like anybody has helped you with that coverage yet, have they?
No, I keep telling them no, and they keep calling me.
Okay. Well, it looked like you might have sent in this postcard a little bit ago. It was just about the coverage that pays off your home if something happened to you, to make sure Maya was protected. Is that what you were needing?
Yeah, but the agents were I didn't like them.
Hey, I don't like half these people either. Well, look, I'll be quick with you, man. I'm not trying to help you all right this minute. I was just reaching out to introduce myself, verify the info so I can get working on this. Looks like I got your age here at 24, non-smoker, mortgage amounts around $300,000. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's all accurate.
Boom. And then you kind of keep going. One thing too is sometimes if people say, oh, you're the fifth person to call me, half the time it's because they sent in multiple requests about mortgage protection. With our company, one of the things I love about our lead program is we're not like a lead vendor where the same lead is being distributed to 18 different agents and they're all fighting over getting in touch with that same person. The lead goes to one agent. And so if you get that objection, just know it's probably because when they got the postcard about insurance, they filled out all 5 or 6 of them. And that's often why. And so I try to go ahead.
I was gonna say you handled that very, calm, cool, collected. And, not everybody watching this has, you got over half a decade of experience doing this. But and I'm shifting back to a little bit of the mindset thing here. But how did you? And I think I know the answer to this question, which is why I'm asking it. But when you're a newer agent, how do you have that calm mindset and not almost clinging on to every lead that you've got, hoping and praying that they're going to say yes to you?
You know, it took me a little bit to kind of adopt that mindset because when I was new, I was clinging to every lead and I was struggling to get my script memorized, which is a big piece. Like, if you know your script front and back, if you know your objections front and back, you have the posture almost of I'm just calling this person to see what they need. And my posture is just trying to sort, you know, I'm just trying to put these people in two different stacks. If they keep giving me no, like the Go for No book is a phenomenal book on kind of the mindset that we have to have when calling all of these leads. And so I recognize that, hey, I'm just trying to sort these into two different categories and figure out, do they still need it? Or are they not interested and they don't need it at all? If so, I'm just moving on to the next one. And you got to have thick skin. If you're in the business of making a lot of calls, you got to have thick skin. If you're going to be shut down emotionally because somebody throws you a curveball, you're going to have to grow out of that pretty quick if you want to get good. And so when I dial, I'm just calm. I'm comfortable. Half the time I'm sipping a cup of coffee and I'm just trying to get through these. I'm not trying to convert every single conversation to an appointment because not every lead is meant to be your client. You
No,
know, if that was the case, that'd be freaking awesome, but it's just not the reality.
no. And I hear Alex Hormozy talk a lot about it. If this is 100% of the clients of the leads that you have, right? You've got 10 to 20% who they're going to be a no matter what. It doesn't matter how good you are, how well you handle the objections. They're just a no, right? People fill stuff out because they're people. That same 10 to 20% at the bottom, they're always going to be a yes. It doesn't matter how bad you are. They're interested. They're buyers, right? And so it's that 60 to 80% in between that we're trying to address here, right? That's why we train.
That's good.
And the other thing is the more total leads that you get. Like I see this all the time with new agents. They're like, well, I want to get newer leads because I'm going to get fewer objections. And, that just makes sense to people, right? The sooner someone filled that out or the more recently someone filled that out, the more likely they're going to convert to a client. But their investment can't match the number of leads they would need to get to see the metrics play out on those newer leads. So like if you're brand new and you buy 4 leads that came in hot off the press, you might get 4 that are all in that top 10, 20% that are never going to be buyers. And congratulations, you just lit money on fire and there's nothing you could do about it, even if you had been doing this for 10 years. And so in my opinion, the biggest thing that helps is having a lot of people to talk to, or at least the right number to see the metrics play out.
Yeah.
We've got an agent on our team, Holly. She solely works the aged leads and she just gets a bunch of them because they're super cheap. And she's doing kind of the spray and pray of like, there's people in here who need my help. I'm going to get more of them and make more outbound calls, just doing what you're talking about, doing the sorting and filtering. So make sure that you're getting enough leads. Because again, if you buy 2 A leads, that's awesome for you. But you're not giving yourself enough at bats, in my opinion.
Yeah. You got to have enough resources. And a lot of times a bad week or a bad month can be fixed by just having more people to talk to. I was talking to, I think we were on a Zoom with a bunch of agents, and I was kind of trying to make the illustration of like, if you're an insurance agent, picture you having a storefront. And if you don't have people to talk to, it'd be like having all of the shelves in your store be bare and empty. And you're going to be more desperate and needy. And that's not the position you want to be in. You want to have more than enough people to talk to. And when I was brand new, man, I was pretty freaking broke. I think my first batch of leads that I invested in was $50 worth of leads, which if you're in the insurance industry, that's nothing. And so I bought the cheapest leads that our company had, which were 50-cent leads, got me 100, and that got me rolling. Now, I don't still work 50-cent leads, and I'm not buying $50 worth of leads a week because it's not enough to, like you said, you don't have a big enough sample size. This is all a numbers game, and you have to have enough leads and make enough calls to book enough appointments to write a certain amount of applications. And what we suggest is like start wherever you're at. We don't hire brand new people and tell them, all right, time to invest $2,000 worth of leads a week because it's not. Sometimes people don't have that, and if I did have that and I was brand new, I would be really scared to do that, having never done it before.
That's going to come across on the phones, right?
Yeah, big time. So having enough people to talk to is huge, and you got to practice this stuff. You got to. It's a skill set. And when I was brand new, man, our company had a bunch of trainings that were recorded on SoundCloud, and I would just listen to those on repeat. There was a bunch of trainings that taught me how to dial by people who were kind of veterans in the sales business. And so you got to commit to being a student of it. We've gotten coaching and training from Jeremy Miner, who's a sales guy and has trained thousands and thousands of salespeople in all different industries. And we apply a lot of what he teaches when we're both booking appointments and running appointments. And so you got to commit to ongoing self-improvement. And then the last thing I'll say is one of our 4 cornerstones is massive action, constant correction. Like you're going to have to make more calls than you think. You're going to have to run more appointments than you think. You're probably going to have to buy more leads than you think. Yeah. And then you're going to have to constantly be improving and self-analyzing so that you can get like 1% better every day. And that's what I would say.
Retweet on all of that. I think that so many people, we've talked about the microwave society that we live in before. So many people see these ads of like, you can make 10K a month, just come invest in my course. And you can make 10K a month in the insurance industry, but you're going to invest with some sweat equity first. And there's going to be there's going to be a financial investment as far as leads go. The one beautiful thing about the insurance industry is the way that it's structured. If you join one of our teams, we will teach you for free, right? You don't gotta give us 5-10K to teach you how to do this. Now that being said, if someone comes in and they want all of your time and then they're not doing anything, well, that's kind of a different problem. But find yourself a good mentor who is where you're trying to get to, and a good one isn't going to charge you a penny because of the way things are structured, because they're going to benefit when you start seeing success as well. They probably want you to succeed more than you want to succeed yourself. And so that's why I love this industry. It's the best kept secret, man. Like, you don't have to pay anything to get involved in it, except for, pre-licensing course and an insurance license. Like, that's maybe $200. What other business can you start for $200?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, we got a good thing going. And so hopefully this provided some value. This is the kind of thing that if you want to get it in the system, you got to re-listen to it, because overcoming objections is something that you can learn how to do, but you're going to have to make lots of calls and practice overcoming those. And the goal of it is to improve your odds of booking an appointment. You're not going to overcome every single objection. Right. Even to this day, I'll still get objections and say what I've said to overcome it, and then they'll throw me another one, and you just keep going. You want to go for no. If you're looking for a couple book recommendations that were mentioned on this podcast, is Never Split the Difference. What's the guy's name?
Chris Voss.
Chris Voss, and then Go for No is another really good one. So check those out. Any last thoughts, Xander?
I just want to spread the word, right? It's 2025. People make a lot of New Year's resolutions. My resolution in 2024 was to start 2025 in a different spot than I started 2024 in. If that's you, reach out to us. We're on Instagram posting little snippets of this. Send us a DM. We would be more than happy to get you up to speed. And because we're talking about all this, thankfully we're not, posturing it as all sunshine and rainbows. That learning curve is not that long, right? It's 3, 4, 5 months tops.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have, you're still going to improve, right? We can always sharpen the sword. But reach out, because we want more hungry, motivated people who have a passion for helping protect people. We want to spread the good word. So I think that's a good spot to end it. Thank y'all, as always, for tuning in. Drop us a comment, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good week. See ya.
See y'all.